Test Manager. Now, up until now, we have seen all of the executions that you can further go ahead and do. But before we execute any of the test cases, you would need a repository or a testing or a test manager tool where you can go ahead and collate all of the test cases. Once the requirement is generated, every team would have to either create their different test cases, their different scenarios. On Lambda test, users can actually go ahead and manage all of their test cases with our in-house test manager. This test manager is highly integrated with all of our projects. We'll also see what is the biggest USP of the test manager that we have. So the first thing is you'll have to create a new project. Let's just name it then we'll add a little bit description, then click on create. Once my project is created, I would get the insights on the first tab. Then in the second tab, you can manage or create different test cases. Then once all the test cases have been created, users can actually go ahead and create the test plan for them. Now, the first step would be here to create your test cases. For that, let's just say you have your test cases written somewhere. Either it could be inside a project management tool or a test manager tool. From there, user would just simply need to export their CSV file. So I'll take an example. I'll just click on browse. I have one CSV file available with me. Inside that, we have multiple test cases, multiple, uh, I would say multiple tags for those test cases. Then this is sample preview of the file that I've uploaded. Once I've clicked on next, it will ask you to map all the fields. So from my CSV file, my test manager was able to detect 10 fields. Users can actually go ahead and map them to the existing fields inside my test manager, go ahead and create a new field altogether, or choose to ignore them as well. Once this is done, then it will ask you to map all the values. So for a particular field inside my CSV file, let's take an example of status. The status could be live, it could be unverified, archived, faulty, or ready. All of these values are already available in my system. In case you would need to create a new value, you can just simply click on this option, create new value, or map them to an existing value that is already created inside my test manager. So instead of live, if the value inside my test manager is go live, you can click on go live and the live value will be mapped with go live option. Then click on next. This will give you a final preview of all the test cases that are available and how we have mapped them. Then once you click on import, it will create a folder inside my test manager. You can go ahead and rename this folder, add a little bit description, and it will go ahead and add those values. Now, inside our test manager, what we have done, we have integrated AI tools, and with that, users can actually go ahead and with ease add their test steps. Let me just open up one particular test case. I'll just quickly rename this to verify the login functionality. Now, once I have added my test case name, I have added some of the description, my precondition, what is my priority, any tags that I want to add. With our test manager, users can actually go ahead and generate the test cases as well. So for example, I have all these test steps written, but in case you would need to go ahead and generate these test steps, simply just click on tab. Basis on the information that we have put, my test case name, the description, the precondition that I've added. It will help you to write down those test steps inside the test cases. By just simply clicking on tab, it is thinking what should be my next step, and on the basis of the result or the previous test steps, it is generating the next steps for me. In the runs, you would be able to see the execution history. Let's just say you have integrated a particular Jira with this particular test case. All the issues can also be linked over here. Now, let's try to create one of the test plan. So I've selected two test cases over here, and I'll just simply click on create test plan and click on next. Over here, you can actually go ahead and plan out your test case, that who will be the assignee, who will execute this particular test case, and what would be the configuration. Now, this is the biggest USP of LambdaTest Test Manager. In a normal test manager, user would have the option to just maintain their test cases. It is not linked to any of the execution platform. Since LambdaTest is your single point of contact for everything related to testing, all of the needs have been covered. Right now, I'll just select this particular device. I want to execute it on Google Chrome, on iPad Air 2020 model. I can actually go ahead and select a different configuration. I can create one configuration. I can choose whether I want to select a desktop or a virtual mobile or a real device. Select the OS, my OS versions, the browser that I want to test out on, browser version as well, and then create my configuration. Once that is done, I can create a test plan. Once I've created a test plan, I can now further go ahead and initiate my test build. From here, users can actually go ahead and then just simply initiate these test cases on our platform. So once I'll click on hit, it will actually allocate this particular device, and all of these steps will be mentioned or available to me inside my session. So as you can see, my first step inside my test case for the verify of the login functionality was follow the link received in the password reset email. Now let's just say I've opened that particular link. Now all I would need to do is mark the status of this particular test step. If it has been passed, it will quickly capture one screenshot, and that particular screenshot will be attached to this particular step. So all of this hassle where you would have to first create a test case, then write down all those test steps, capture those screenshots while you are manually executing them on any of the platform, and then collating them, updating them on that particular Jira or the CSV file where you are maintaining the test cases will be eliminated. I would have to just simply follow these steps. In case you would need to capture additional detail, just simply click on this plus icon. It will capture a screenshot as well. Mark the test case as pass, as fail. Once you'll click on pass or failed, again it will capture that screenshot which will be available to you inside your test cases. I'll mark this particular as failed. I can actually go ahead and see the details as well. So for each of these steps, whether you will mark it as passed or failed, it will capture a test evidence. So all of these details which a user would have to manually enter with the test manager, they can go ahead and complete them in just one go. Then add any of the remark, test case complete, and then add any of the attachments. In case you have added a video, in case you have recorded one video, or you have captured multiple screenshots, or there are some other attachments that you would like to attach to this particular test case, you can actually go ahead and do that. Then just simply click on next and finish the test case. This will also end the session of my device that I've triggered right now. Over here, the status of my case have been started as passed. You can further go ahead and change that. I can just go ahead and simply click on failed. Since I haven't initiated a test, so it is giving me a pop-up that it has not been verified on LambdaTest. Awesome. So right now, as you can see, one of my test case have been passed, one is failed. In case I would not have initiated another test case, it would have given me that particular option as well. So right now we have seen how easily you can go ahead and manage your test cases with the test manager that we have at LambdaTest. You can go ahead, create those test cases. Our AI will help you to generate all of the test cases along with the test steps basis on the information that you have given. So the test name, your details, if all of that information is up to date, basis on that, it will try to assess your objective and generate those test steps for you.